Hey guys, thanks for joining us today. I have Ashley here from Sony. What are you showing us today, Ashley?
So I brought with me the new 20 to 70 millimeter lens, a nice compact dual kind of lens.
Very cool. So what is this new lens good for?
I think it's going to be good for a lot of applications. So like if you're a still photography shooter, I think it's going to be great for you if you're shooting weddings or architecture, travel, any kind of thing where you might need to get a little bit wider and not have the ability to back up. I think that's going to be the biggest benefit. 20 millimeters gets you a significantly wider field of view, and then you still have all that range all the way up to 70. So tons of flexibility. If you do video, same concept. Instead of me having to either be limited by the range of what like maybe a 16 to 35 can do just to get a little bit of width, now I can go wide and still have some telephoto if I want to get in closer for detailed shots. So yeah, I think for both video and still users, it's got a lot of application.
Very cool. Why should somebody buy this lens over the 24 to 70?
So the 24 to 70s have some advantage. You know, they either are an f4 lens, which this is also a fixed f4 all the way through, or they're a 2.8 aperture lens. The 2.8 is a big benefit for gathering light. So if I didn't want to push my ISOs up as high, it's kind of the benefit. We're getting to a point in sensor technology where that's becoming less and less crucial, less and less important.
Yeah.
So really the only advantage in a 24 to 70, in my opinion, is the 2.8 for the look. If I'm trying to, photograph you and I want the background to blur out quicker, easier, that's the big advantage.
Right.
Otherwise, this has got a lot more range than a 24-70 can do. That 20 to 24 doesn't seem like a big deal, but it's about a 10-degree difference. So it's significantly wider, still have all the flexibility in the range too.
That's awesome. What are a couple cool new features about this lens?
So the things people will see right away when they pick up the lens is the addition of the aperture ring on it. So now if I want to, I can manually control the aperture right on the lens itself. I can lock it into A for automatic, and then I can control it on the body like traditional. The other pieces that come with that, we have the iris lock. So if I'm in that auto, I can lock that and it won't just accidentally slide out of that auto mode. I can also declick the aperture. So if I'm using this for video, I can adjust aperture as I'm recording and not add extra movement, extra noise to it. Some of the things that people won't see just picking it up, you have XD linear drive motors in it. So incredibly fast, smooth, quiet autofocus out of this. You also have 9 aperture blades in it, so a nice smooth bokeh as well.
What does the G button do?
So there's 2 buttons on the lens. By default, what this will do is do focus hold. This is totally customizable through the camera. So you can actually go in the camera. I could tell this to do a number of options. There's dozens of pages of choices I can put to this. 2 that I really like, if I'm doing more still photography work, usually I'm shooting and I want to do manual focus. Instead of me having to pull the camera away from my face, find the button, make the adjustment, go back, I'll do this as a toggle to go between auto and manual focus. So I can just push that button and it'll toggle back and forth. If I'm doing video, one thing I really like to set this to do is APS-C crop. So as I'm recording and I want to get a little extra reach, one button push puts it into crop mode and I get extra reach out of the lens.
So what type of photography or videography would this lens be good for?
Honestly, most everything. I think for anyone who's doing video world, if you're doing a lot of architecture stuff or events, I'm doing real estate videography, I think it's got a lot of benefit. Just having that little bit of extra width, still some flexibility in the zoom. Weddings, of course, for both video and stills. For stills, pet photography, portrait photography, event photography, real estate, everything, really. Travel, I think, is going to be the big one. Having just that extra range makes it so I don't have to pack an additional lens with me. So I can stay smaller, lighter, and still have all the flexibility.
Is this new lens weather sealed or protected?
Yep, so it's dust and moisture resistant, so it's got that. And then on the base of the lens, there's actually a little rubber gasket. So it'll actually form a seal when it couples to the camera as well.
Does it have image stabilization in the lens?
So the lens itself does not. That helps make it a little bit smaller and lighter by not having that on there. Because we're a wider angle kind of field of view, it's not as crucial to have that stabilization. The other big thing we're starting to see is the in-body stabilization systems are getting better and better and better as well. The new A7R5, you have 8 steps of correction out of just the in-body stabilization. So we're probably getting to a point where it's going to have less and less impact outside of big telephoto lenses.
What is the weight on this new lens?
So there's no way anyone could know this off the top of their head. But it weighs 17.2 ounces or just 488 grams.
Nice. Yeah, pretty light. What cameras will it work with?
So any of the Sony E-mount cameras. The benefit with Sony is we're a one-mount system. So this lens will work on any APS-C camera, any full-frame camera, or any of the cinema cameras. So the whole product line, basically.
Who do you think should buy this lens?
I think everyone should buy this lens. Everyone. No, honestly, anyone who's shooting and you feel like you always kind of have to back up a little extra, but you don't want to give up that flexibility in the lens, it's going to be crucial. I think once you kind of get your hands on it, start playing with it, you're going to see how noticeable a difference it is from 20 to 24, from 20 to 28, and that's going to be the big game changer. Again, it saves me having to carry an extra lens for a lot of the cases. So.
Sure. Yeah, like 2 lenses in one.
Basically, yeah.
And when will this be available?
So the lens will actually start shipping March 3rd and be available for customers at that point.
Perfect. Great. Looking forward to having it.
Awesome. Yeah, it's going to be a pretty fantastic lens. I think people are going to be pretty excited to get their hands on it. So.
Yes, we're very excited. Thank you very much for coming in today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Take care, guys.